Let me paint you a picture. One that probably feels all too familiar if you've ever lived in the shadow of someone else's bitterness or tried to carve out your own peace in a world determined to tell you where you don't belong. See, before all the sirens and the HOA drama, before my wife's name became gossip fodder for people who barely know how to spell it, our house was just that. A house, our house. Not a symbol, not a battleground. Just a warm two-story place with a porch full of succulents and wind chimes tucked under an old oak that must have been standing guard for 100 years. Our little piece of the American promise. Saturday morning, humid enough to swim through air, thick with fresh-cut grass, and the slow patience that working people earn for themselves. My wife, man, there's no way to say it except straight. She's regal. Not like royalty regal, but like the earth bows a little when she walks past. She was on our porch, arms buried in her garden hair, catching sunlight like a halo. She's my anchor, my peace, when the world outside feels intent on proving me wrong for letting my guard down. Now every neighborhood's got one to watch her. Ours lived 2 houses down, and I swear her tracksuit had to be a relic from the Nixon-era turquoise and stretched tight as the frown on her face. No one really knew her name. We called her the Watcher because, well, that's what she did. Watched always from behind those sunglasses, in a tangle of brittle blonde hair like some angry gargoyle on her porch. Her house was falling apart, peeling paint, a sad old flamingo on its side like a warning sign. We tried in the beginning. My wife took her banana bread once, smiled big, offered warmth, got the door cracked and a hand snatched it. No thank you, not even a grunt. That was it, lines drawn her silence, growing into a kind of static you just get used to, until you can't. That day it started with the crunch of gravel, and I looked up from my book to see her stomping toward our porch. Not her usual border patrol, but a direct incursion. My gut twisted. She loomed behind my wife, threw her hand out, nails like yellow claws, chipped and old and croaked. I need you to do my nails. No greeting, no context, just a demand, like she was ordering at a drive-through. My wife turned calm, but incredulous, said, "I think you got the wrong person. I don't do nails." The Watcher ignored that. Said, "You're always doing things with your hands. You're artsy. You can do it. I have the polish for bingo night." Let me tell you, racism isn't always fire and brimstone. Sometimes it's a favor asked like you're not even there, just a pair of hands. My wife's face turned cold. Her back straightened and she just said, "No, not today, not ever. You need to leave my porch." The Watcher lost it, screamed about disrespect, jabbed those claws like weapons, pulled out her phone, and called the cops, claimed she was being threatened. You know the script, a black woman as aggressor, a white woman in distress. It's older than time, and my heart pounded like a war drum. But fate intervened for once. Police were already on the block. Maybe for something else, maybe not, but they showed up mid-lunge, caught the whole thing. The Watcher went down hard, face pressed to the board she'd invaded, still screaming that she was the victim. My wife stood tall. The cops saw the truth. For a split second, justice was real and in the flesh. You know what I mean? But this isn't TV. There's always a sequel. The Watcher got out in hours, claimed chest pains, walked free. Then came the games, a nail salon brochure under my wife's windshield. The neighborhood's eyes growing colder, whispers running wild. Suddenly, we were the problem house. She started up with the HOA petty fines violations for the color of our mat, the sound of our chimes. She volunteered for the committee weaponized bureaucracy. One day it's the clover, next day it's a wind chime. The message was clear: I'm in control. Neighbors started to avoid us, eyes-dropping conversations dying mid-sentence. We'd become strangers in our own home. But she didn't stop there. Legal papers came, a civil suit for emotional distress restraining order for supposed threats. Suddenly my wife couldn't step outside without risking jail, all because this woman spun a story in a system eager to believe her. We drained our savings on lawyers, the light fading from my wife's eyes each time she opened a new envelope. And as if that wasn't enough, she escalated to psychological warfare. Nighttime idling her car engine, shattering our sleep. Packages left at our door, a fake fingernail in dirt, a dead sparrow placed just so on the walkway. One morning, my wife cried quiet and small for the first time since I'd known her. It broke me. My rock act shattered. I punched a wall, useless and angry at myself for letting it get this far. But then something changed. Instead of running, we fought back, not with fists or fury, but with smarts. We dug into her past, traced property records, found that our house used to be hers, lost to bankruptcy and bad luck. We discovered family posts, little jokes about her obsession with the house, the grudge she nursed. The puzzle came together. This was never about my wife's hands or a manicure. It was about control, ownership, a wound so deep she'd rather destroy us than face her own loss. So we set a trap, a big, bold HOA proposal to cut the oak, replace the porch, build a fence. We knew she'd lose it publicly. At the meeting, she erupted, couldn't hide the hurt. My wife and I, calm as saints, presented the evidence, property records, family screenshots, the whole story. We let the neighborhood see her for what she was, an obsessed ex-owner, not a victim. It was like a spell breaking. Neighbors' eyes widened, the air went still. No one defended her. Her power was gone in an instant. The next day she moved out, no goodbyes, no last curse. The lawsuits vanished, the restraining order dropped. Neighbors started showing up with pie apologies, a bottle of wine. My wife's garden is hers again. The wind chimes play their gentle song, and our fortress stands stronger than ever. But I won't lie to you, none of this feels like a fairy tale. It's messy, it's raw, and the cracks will always be there under the paint. We built something real here, something tough and lasting, not because we're heroes, but because we refuse to be anybody's victim. My wife, she's the queen in this story, the one who stared down hate and never blinked. So what's justice, really? Is it a courtroom win, a moving truck, or the relief that lets you sleep with your windows open again? I don't know. But I know this silence only helps the bully. Tell your story, stand your ground, and maybe, just maybe, the right people will finally listen. Now, if you made it this far, I want to hear from you. What would you have done? When do you fight back? When do you forgive? And how do you rebuild a community that forgot what it stands for? Drop your thoughts below. And if you hate racists and fake victims as much as I do, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share this story. Someone out there needs to know they're not alone.